Good morning, sisters and brothers. Just as we continue to focus on God, our goal is what? To be rabidly Jesus focused, right? To learn Jesus so that we can be like Jesus and love like Jesus. And, and that means being very intentional, being practiced, and creating a rhythm of just being present to God. So maybe all week you'll hear bits and pieces of this article by Henri Nouwen that I'm reading, but it's 8 pages long and every bit of it fantastic. But he talks about spiritual disciplines and he gives a definition. He says, in the spiritual life, the word discipline means the effort to create some space in which God can act. The effort to create some space in which God can act. He says discipline means to prevent everything in your life from being filled up. Discipline means that somewhere you're not occupied, and certainly not preoccupied. In the spiritual life, discipline means to create that space in which something can happen that you hadn't planned or counted on. So that's really what we're trying to do in these short talks, is just to focus ourselves on God. So let's do this one more time. Another imaginative prayer, just from Isaiah 6. And we'll just, instead of reading it, I'm just going to walk through it as if we're Isaiah. And this is his commission. In the year that King Uzziah died, as if we were there, we saw the Lord. And he's high and exalted. We're having this vision, and the Lord is high and exalted. He's seated on a throne, and the train of his robe is so big it fills the temple. And above him are these wild, fiery creatures, seraphim. Each they have 6 wings, and with 2 wings they cover their faces, and with 2 they cover their feet, and with 2 they're flying, and they're calling out to each other over and over and over again. They're calling back and forth the same refrain. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is filled with his glory. There's a spectacle, and it's all about God being set apart and holy and pure. And at the sound of their voices, they're so strong, the doorpost and threshold shook, and the temple fills with smoke. It's smoky and earthquake-like, big and powerful. And so we cry out, and we say, woe is me, we cry. We're ruined, because we're women and men of unclean lips, and we live among a people of unclean lips, and we're unclean, but our eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. We don't belong here. We're not right enough to be here. And then one of these fiery creatures, they fly to us with a live coal in their hand, and that they had taken from the tongs in the altar. And then that coal is touched to our mouths. And we hear these words spoken to us. They say, see, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned for. And it's then that we hear the voice. Not the voice of the creature, but the voice of God, the voice of the Lord. And he's asking a question. He says, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? And we speak. I don't know how Isaiah does this, but maybe he surprises himself. Maybe he just realizes that in this vision, he's alone. He's the only human in the room. But the simple phrase is, here am I, send me. I don't know what you're headed off to do today. And I don't know how easy it is for some of you to create space in your day between crazy schedules, between children and their crazy schedules. But whatever it is, know that you're going as one who's sent. Sent by a God who is holy and dramatic and big and powerful, and the doorposts shake, and yet is profoundly personal and personally interested in you. So grace and peace to you, my